we have a god also called Kama. Many of you know his wife is Rati. And Kama has a bow and an arrow. The bow is made of sugarcane and the string of the bow are honeybees. And the god Kama, when he wants somebody to fall in love, with his bow he releases an arrow. Kama means desire, but it also means pleasure. Unlike the other two goals of Artha and Dharma, we don't discuss Kama. We hide it under the carpet. And I think that this is really not healthy. We are a country that's moving from tradition to modernity. And it's just as important to talk about our emotional lives as it is to talk about economic prosperity or democracy. Because if you don't talk about your emotions, then you repress those emotions. And then you live with stereotypes that you hear from around you. And this is not healthy. To imagine, and this has happened to all of us, or might happen to any of us. You know, who has not been tempted in life, especially in your 40s, after you've spent years raising children, slogging at work, climbing ladders, you suddenly meet someone. Often it could be at a company off-site, at a conference. You meet someone and suddenly there is electricity. Suddenly there is chemistry between two people. Now you have a happy family life, but this is something that can happen to any of us. And so you have to decide. And this happens, it's mutual. Both of you could be married. Both of you could have a happy family life, but you have to decide. Now, the Kama Sutra says, it's a lovely quotation, because we have all kinds of wrong ideas about the Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra is not about sexual positions. Kama Sutra is a book of manners, good manners, how to behave, how to be successful socially. Yes, in Kama Sutra, book 5, a woman desires any attractive man she sees in the same way as a man desires an attractive woman. But after some consideration, the matter goes no further. So that could be one scenario. Both of you say, you're attracted, fine, and the matter goes no further. But another possibility is that you feel that this may be your last chance for a certain kind of happiness. Because after all, if you've been married for a dozen years, you know, that initial romance, etc., has waned away. And so and I'm saying, speaking from both, from the point of view of the man or the woman, both of you say, well, you know, what if we have an affair? Now you're thinking to yourselves. And so one consideration, let's look at the negative side. What are the reasons why you shouldn't have an affair? Well, the most obvious reason is it will destroy your marriage. It will hurt the person who you love and who you've lived with. And then you say to yourself, well, maybe what if we keep it secret? That nobody finds out. That my husband doesn't find out and my wife doesn't find out. We do it secretly. And that is often the scenario that happens. Then the problem is, with that scenario, you will have to lie. And then lies will have to be piled upon more lies. And then you'll get used to lying as a way of life. And that means you will become inauthentic as a human being if you live a lie. And you think about your children, not just your wife. And if you do it for the sake of the children, but then you say, my God, these kids, they're going to go away. And then they're going to be ungrateful. But then if you ignore your children, they'll never forgive you. So then you argue, I shouldn't have an affair. Let me put it the other way. if you do not have the affair, then you will never forgive yourself for realizing a certain kind of happiness, which is the happiness of karma. You risk becoming a shriveled old man who's bitter that he had one chance for a certain kind of happiness and he gave up that chance. So this is a classical dilemma which our ancients had foreseen for thousands of years. And it is the classical conflict between dharma, which is a duty to another, duty to your family, versus karma, which is duty to yourself. Now, normally we don't think of karma as a duty to ourselves. But in fact, that's the insight that I bring to this book, that we all human beings have a certain duty to ourselves. And so, in fact, that is why the wisdom, the classical wisdom in our country was to balance the three goals of life: artha, dharma, and kama.